Alright, map class time. One more time. Let's see. Let me get this out of the way. Thanks everybody for showing up for tonight's map class, and if you were with us on Tuesday, you learned how to add a new fruit type into your map, and if you weren't, you can always check out the video on YouTube. Just go to our main website and you'll find a YouTube tab at the top, and you can learn how to add a fruit type into your map. We added poppy, and you can use the same theory with any fruit type that you want to add to your map, but we still have a long way to go because we don't have a way to put it into a silo. Hello KW, thanks for showing up. So tonight we're going to start off with adding a new silo trigger to your map class map, basically because I have not figured out yet, and somebody may have, but I have not seen a multi-fruit map that uses a standard silo trigger that comes with the FS15. So we're going to add a new silo trigger that is compatible with the multi-fruits to our map. And I have prepared a silo trigger folder, and you can get this by typing !trigger, and it will have all the files in it that you need to add the trigger to your map. I kind of organized it a little bit to make this go a little bit quicker for you, but they are files you will need, and I'm going to just minimize that right there a little bit. And what you want to do is open your map class folder. We're working on the map class map, and basically in the base map folder you want to take these three files right here, copy them right into this folder in your base map class folder, or whatever your map name is. Get those three in there: the particle system shader, wheat particle. That is the particle system we're going to have to use for now because I don't have any other ones. But the script that we're going to be installing requires those to be in certain locations, so that's where they have to be. Now in the map folder, we'll open the map folder. You just need the overlay location hud.dds file, and we're going to copy that right into our map folder, and that goes right there. Also in that package you'll see a scripts folder, and we're going to highlight these here with have our silo trigger and everything. We're just going to open up our scripts folder and pop those three right in there. Now you'll see we have one Lua file, just like the multi-fruit utility Lua. We have an all-in-one silo Lua. So the next part you will need to do is register that all-in-one silo Lua file in your mod description file so it knows where to find it. So we're going to go back a couple steps, find our mod description file, open that up with our Notepad++. And you can see right where we left off last week with registering this source file, we're going to copy, and we need to change the name of the file to match our all-in-one silo Lua. And so I get all the caps right because it is case sensitive. I like to copy the file name, drop it in right there. There we go. We got our source file map scripts all-in-one silo Lua. Should look just like I have it right there on the screen. You want to save that file up. Now there's a lot of complicated things we're going to be doing tonight, so I'd be surprised if I get through this without having to go back and redo something, but we will get it all working for sure. Let's open up our map now with the map I01i3D file. And eventually it should pop up here. Would hope. One would hope. There we go. Alright, you can see I got the script thing, no errors shown so far. That's just fine and dandy in our script window. Let's go over to our silo that we want to add in the new fruit type 2, which is poppy. And what we need to do is, I usually click right underneath the silo and you'll highlight this little thing here, but we need to just get the trigger. So if you expand the groups, you will see a silo trigger 01. So that's what we've got to replace with our new trigger that we just added into the map. So let's click on the plus symbol and we're going to browse. I have it in my, let's see, LMNOP map class. Where are you? Right there. Map. And if you remember, we put it in the scripts folder. We have a silo trigger i3D file. We're going to import that. You will see it appear down at the bottom of the list of everything that is in your map. And again, there's our silo trigger that we need to replace. So we're just going to go edit, replace. It already highlights the one that you had highlighted. We're going to grab the silo trigger down below and replace with box. We're going to just click load and replace. And what we have now is the new silo trigger is up above. And you can see because right here on create, it's calling the all-in-one silo on create for that trigger. We can delete the one that we imported that's at the bottom, because otherwise you'll have a trigger that's actually underneath the map at center point 00 way over there that you don't need anymore. So let's get rid of that one. And I did copy this out of my other map, so we're going to have a lot of fruit types probably in here that we don't need. So we have rape, barley, maize. And after maize, I'm going to delete everything here because we don't have carrots and onions on this map. But we want the 4 standard fruits for sure: wheat, rape, barley, maize. And then we're going to, you can even add your potato in here if you want. Sugar beet, because that's a standard crop as well that comes with the Giants FS15. But we want to add in our P-O-P-P-Y, poppy, all lowercase, the way we created it last week. Everything else in here is already set. Hopefully we'll be able to find the wheat particle system long, the particle position. We don't have to modify anything else in that trigger. It's there. We should be good on that end to fill up our trailers. But over here where our dump area is, we want to also add in poppy as well. There we go. Poppy's added there. Let's save the map. And we'll jump into a save game and see if we can actually use the silo trigger now. That pretty much is the silo trigger portion, if everything worked okay. So let's see, I gotta make sure I'm on my map class folder and boot up my map. And I think I even have a save game on slot 14 that probably has poppy in it from last week. So let's see if this is the right one. You can also, if you have developer tools enabled, you can turn them on and make sure you're not getting any errors. Everything so far looks to be good, which is always a plus. And we're loaded up, so it looks like everything might actually work. First time on this one, which is awesome. Doesn't always work that way. Let me jump into the vehicle over here by the silo that we had last week. I was messing around. If I drive underneath this silo now, it should have, but it didn't, bring up my trigger. So something is obviously probably messed up. Let's check that out real quick, make sure I was underneath it. And it is not loading, so let me scroll up my list and see what I did wrong here real quick. There should be something in here that tells us. Otherwise, I could be in the wrong folder. No. Nothing in my error log. It's always interesting. Map class, map. Zip files, okay. Registered. Error, cannot load resource. Scripts all-in-one silo Lua. It looks like here, very simply, it's a typing thing. I missed the slash in between the word scripts and all-in-one silo Lua. So very quickly. And those are the little things that do pop up from time to time when you're trying to get everything done. So we'll go back into our map. Basically where I registered it in the Lua file here, you'll see I missed or inadvertently deleted the little slash there. Alright, that's all we needed. Simple typing. Which happens to me very frequently. But knowing how to find them and correct them is all part of this as well, because you're going to be doing a lot of it. So let's bring up that one more time and see what we have. That was the only error that we had. Couldn't find out where it was, so we should be good. Back to my trailer. And now you will see the display, just like we have in our PV15 map. It shows the wheat down there. And using the B key, alright, we do need to register, which I forgot all about this. The all-in-one silo up above, it's missing the text lines from the all-in-one for the all-in-one silo start and end, which we'll add those in. But you will find that the poppy is there. We have very little. We'll load that up. There, it still looks like a standard grain, which we're going to be doing that next, working on fill planes. But because we don't have those 110 entries in for the all-in-one silo, we get weird looking text up there, and we need to register them. And as you can see, missing all-in-one silo choose and missing all-in-one silo start. So basically, we'll go back out here, and because I know where to find an exact copy of what I need in our mod description for my PV15 map, I'm gonna just copy the lines right out of there, but you will see exactly how they are needed. And there's probably a section in here with, you can see I have tons of registered stuff in here. Let's see if there's a section for the all-in-one silo, or there we go. These are the 3 entries for the all-in-one silo. You can get that right out of the PV15 map, and it even has the translations for German and French as well. So we're going to copy those 3 lines for the all-in-one silo start, stop, and choose into our map class, map. And if you don't have a copy of that map, or you want to just look at them real closely and enter them text-wise, but this is the real quick way to do it. They have to be in the 110 end section between these 2 markers. So right after the poppy that we added last week, we're going to throw in those 3. It basically tells what text is supposed to be displayed in the game for this tag. So it'll say choose fruit, and then we have all-in-one start, and it'll also, you'll see the stop. We'll save that one more time. Now if we go into our map, everything should be good. L10, small l, whatever, it looks like 110, L10. Yeah, the 10 section. L10 entries. I don't even know what they stand for. But that's the section it's supposed to go in. It's a small L. Looks like a 1. But yeah, alright, the L10 section. I'll have to get back into actually saying it correctly. I never actually had to type it, so. Let's jump over here. Now you can see, instead of having all that funky text, we actually have the choose fruit line, and you can go through and you can see it change up above as well, and you also have the start text. So there we go. You have your silo trigger. You can duplicate this silo now anywhere on the map and put extra silos, or even if you use a different silo type, different design, as long as you have that trigger, and the proper materials to put in and out of your silo, you will get the little pop-up there. Unfortunately, this trigger does have one issue, and that is you don't get the B and the O options when you're in multiplayer, but they still work. You just don't see them in the control menu up top. Anyhow, the next thing we have to do is a lot more complicated, so we're going to get right into it, and that is we have to change our fill planes in our trailers to load. Basically, in any trailer we choose, we're going to want to get it to actually look like poppy rather than wheat or whatever it looks like right now. So this section is a little bit more complicated, but let's get through it. And basically we're going to start like this. In your, actually we'll start over here, in your map class map folder, in your sample mod map Lua file. We'll open that up. If you scroll down, you will see where it actually gets the fill planes from. Right here is the fill plane material holder i3D file. It is in your data. $data means it's in your standard folder where your FS15 files are stored, and it's in the vehicles fill planes fill plane folder. You'll find this i3D file. So what we have to do is we have to search for that, and that is in your computer. C, program files, Farming Simulator 2015. This is the data folder they're referring to, and then we're into vehicles, and then you will see the fill planes. Well, this here folder has that file in it, but what we need is this whole fill planes folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that fill planes folder. We don't want to move it or we mess up our game, but we're going to take that folder and I'm going to put it on our desktop right now. And then I'm going to open it up and open our fill plane material holder, and you are going to see pretty much a bunch of junk. A bunch of errors pop up. Cannot load, cannot load, cannot load. You could see error cannot load, data S2. It's referring to files that are actually in the map that we actually don't need because we're using those new triggers, our new trigger system. So if you save this just once, now if we load this back up in our editor, we should have all those files stripped out of there actually. It's funny how this works, but we have no more errors. The problem with this is that when we edit this file, yeah, you would think you could, okay, we can duplicate wood chips and put it down here and then change it into Poppy, which is what we want, but when we resave this file, it's for some reason strips out the information we need. So I have to do it manually in the text editor. So we're going to show you that process, and I will say no because we have it. We should have it already saved. Let me bring it back up just real quick without any of the errors in it. It's good to go. We have the fill planes material holder, the whole folder right there. What we need to do is go into our map class folder, into our map, and we're going to go into the map folder, and we're going to take that whole fill planes folder and drag it right into our map folder right here with all these other files. And now, if you remember where I showed you back one page, we have the mod description XML file and actually the sample mod map Lua. We need to point to where our fill planes are, and that is basically in our map /fill planes /fill plane material holder. So now it will know to look for our files rather than the ones that are in the map folder under FS15. And that is the path map fill plane material holder. We'll save that real quick. And you can see again it's map class, map, and the path fill planes, and there's our fill plane material holder. So everything's in the place where it needs, but now we need to show you how to get the fill plane for Poppy. Poppy looks very similar in a trailer to Rape. So what I did is actually use the Rape, Diffuse, Normal, and Specular that we already have in here. I copied them and renamed them Poppy, Diffuse, Normal, and Specular. If you have another one, such as you're going to add in one of the other products from the Pleasant Valley 15 map, which we have over here, you'll notice I have the fill planes folder, and I have tons of the ones already designed for you that I created. So if you were going to add in, say, sorghum, there's your sorghum, diffuse, normal, and specular. Yep, and I just clicked on one and opened it up, but that's okay. So you could copy them out of there, but I already moved over. We didn't have Poppy in that map, so I moved these three, and we're going to just need to have those three files in the same folder where the fill plane material holder is, right there. So we have our Poppy, diffuse, normal, and specular. Next step is to open our fill plane material holder, and this is where it gets a little confusing if you're not familiar with this. But we're going to use a numbering system that I use to make things really, really as simple as possible for doing this. And because we're working strictly with text, we're going to have to remember a lot of things. And what I do here is I take the bottom three wood chips. We're going to work basically off of wood chips. Wherever wood chips are filled, we're going to change it and create our new entries for the Poppy. So I'm going to copy those, the wood chips, diffuse, normal, and specular, and I'm going to put them below. Now the numbering system I use for each crop, I just add a different number. So wood chips will be 1, 133, 134, and 135. And we're going to change these to Poppy now. Poppy there. Poppy there. And Poppy there. Alright, so we have 133, 134, and 135 are Poppy. If I was to add a next one in, I would make it 233, 234, and 235, and repeat this process for each individual one I have. That way I know the numbers are spaced out enough, and it's a system that as we go through and find wood chips, we'll be able to replace all the numbers we need with the proper numbers that we're going to be creating here. So we're down into the materials section here, and we have the wood chips material right here. So I'm going to copy that again right below it, and now we're going to have that be material 119. The custom shader can stay the same. You'll see it's 4 for every one, so we're not going to touch that, but material 119 is actually going to be for our Poppy mat. And then we reference the files above, which are right here, 133, 134, 135. The other values are all good in that material, so that part is done. We're going to keep scrolling down, and wherever we see, you can see all the different materials in here. Wherever we see wood chips, we need to recreate a Poppy section. So that is all the materials. Now we're getting down into the transform groups, which are a little bit different. Let's find our wood chips transform group, which should be down here somewhere. It's above seeds, but I'm going to grab it right here from the beginning of the carrot to the last end of it, the whole transform group for wood chips. I'm going to copy it, and I'm just going to put it right below the last one here. And I'm going to name this transform group, instead of wood chips, Poppy. And one of the interesting things is the node ID has to be different as well. So we're going to go with our standard 175 because we're adding the 1 series, we'll call it. And next line, so that is done. Poppy and node ID 175. Shapes ID, we name this to Poppy. material holder and the node to 176. Material references 119, and that line is done. Next we have shape 2, which we're going to just change to Poppy. Node number 177. The material ID here can also stay the same as 7. You'll notice that all of them above are all 7, so that's going to stay at 7. And our transform group for our Poppy material holder is in there. And the next fun section is our user attributes. So we're going to scroll down and we're looking for the fill type of wood chips once again. And if we go down, it should be near the bottom as we've been going through here. Forage mixing, wheat windrow, barley, sugar beets, wood chips. You'll see there are 2 of them right here. User attribute wood chips, and this one also has a user attribute of wood chips. So we're going to copy both of those. Drop down here, and we have to edit them again. The node number goes to 176. The fill type is actually Poppy. Material type, we're good there. On create, script callback, that's all good. Very simple. Then down here, we're going to name that to 177 and change this to Poppy, Poppy. Awesome. Everything, we're at the bottom of our i3D file. Actually went way quicker. I'm hoping there's an error because I have another half hour to fill. All right. No, but anyway, we will save this real quick. And I will show you what we just did in the fill plane material holder. If we open it up now, we created the Poppy index with all the proper types already in there. The problem is if we were to save this from here, usually it deletes needed information and messes it up. That's why I add it in separately. We added the Poppy in just the way it has to be. We have the whole Poppy fill plane. The materials are pointing in the right place. We don't have any errors in our log file, which I just removed for the Poppy. So that should be good. Let's go into the map real quick here and let's see what we have. Before I go into the map, I want to do one thing. And if you remember last week, we were doing a script right here that had the multi-fruit utility where we added our Poppy in. Down at the bottom, we had a liters per square meter. I am going to crank this sucker so far up that it's going to be ridiculous, but I want to get some Poppy to test with and not take all day. So I'm going to 5 times the amount of liters per square meter just for testing purposes, because we're going to plant some fields so we can make sure that the fill plane is not only showing up in our trailer, but it also shows up in our, and I'm going to start with a clean save game this time so we can start from scratch. We want to make sure it shows up and it'll be daylight. Boo! Who's booing? Tony Zoo? What are you booing? Did I miss something? I have an error. You know how I can tell I have an issue? It's very simple. There's no loading, please wait. So that's, yay, we got an error. The error is map class mod map could not be found. Yeah, alright. We always get these things. Let's shut down with Task Manager our map, and now we can find out I messed up something in our folder. Again, with my quick typing, it's probably in here. And I did it again. I deleted the first quotation mark in the fill plane material holder. Put it back. Now we should load up. So yeah, making sure you have your text right. It's always a good idea. try one more time. Yeah, 13's a good number. Slot number 13, here we go. Now I have game is loading, please wait. Usually if you mess something up in your Lua file or you don't get the game is loading, please wait. You definitely have an error. There you go. And we're not going to take the tour, but I am going to get some big time cash and buy myself some equipment to seed. Grab a couple deutzes and cedar. I really should put bigger cedars on here, but we're going to use that one. I'm going to even fertilize this field, and we'll grab our combine for harvesting it. And if you remember, I have it set up for a half a day, so it shouldn't take too long to seed and fertilize this field. There we go. A bunch of new equipment right across the street. Back up. And switch to Poppy. I know we actually don't have to fill up with seed if we use the hired worker, but I'm going to fill up anyway. Let the fun begin. Let's see how much 5 times our poppy production here actually is. We'll start our cedar up and then I'll fertilize right behind them. While we're doing this, I wanted to mention that we do have a pretty good show lined up for you later on after this show here at 9 o'clock. We'll be back with, well, we put together a package. Big Daddy and I put together a package for you guys that we'll be giving out the link. We'll be showing you what you'll be getting first, and then we'll be giving out the link first for those that are viewing the Twitch broadcast tonight, with some stuff to hold you guys over until we get the next version 2.0 into the mod contest. So it's going to be a little while, but we got some cool things for you to play with. And on top of that, I did quite a bit of work as well on Pleasant Valley codename Rivers right now, subject to change. But for now it's Rivers, so we're going to show you some of that's the next map we're working on, which is intended to be a map that is geared toward group play, but not separate group like we have in the Pleasant Valley map, but more where co-op play or single player. So everything is designed differently, so it'll be more single player friendly as well as group friendly rather than separate farms. You'll all be running the same farm, the same lumber area and stuff like that. Plus, we're going to see how much new stuff we can add into that map as well before that one gets released. It'll be a long time before, but I've made quite a bit of progress. Even the guys that are with me, unless they're looking at it right now on our server, haven't got to see it since last week. And also on Saturday, tomorrow, at 7 p.m. we're going to start a new series. This week at 7 p.m. we'll see about changing the time in the future. We'll have to see how things go. But the new series is going to be called Flashback, which will basically, we're going to go right back to Pleasant Valley version 1, and we're going to play it online. And we're going to invite people in to play with us. So if you want to get the files for the Flashback Pleasant Valley 1 map, and you still have FS 2013 installed on your computer, all the files you will need to try to join in. We only have limited slots, but those that get in can get in and play with us and reminisce on Pleasant Valley 1, version 1, the very original. We'll see how much things have changed. Exclamation point flashback is all very few files that we needed for version 1. And that will have all the files you need if you're thinking about coming around tomorrow and joining us. Just download them in exclamation point flashback, and we're gonna play some. Each week we're gonna highlight a different one of the maps that I've done in order that they were done, and see what we left behind, what we've changed, who knows, we might find something that we left behind that viewers really like that we might bring back. You never can tell, so it'll be fun going back. ATV World was in the first one, so I'm sure we're going to have some ATV races. That's why we included the ATV in the pack. We'll go back to ATV World. So every week will be, and for this week it's Saturday. Who knows? Saturday's a really good day for me because it's like wind down. Okay, we're done. And let's jump on, but we may move it up earlier in the day so some of our overseas players get a chance to participate. We will see, but tomorrow I have an event to go to, so I won't be back until a little bit later in the day, so 7 p.m. Eastern time for that. And once he's done with fertilizing, we're gonna fast forward this time. Oh, not fertilizing, planting. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff to show you later. It'll be fun. All the new stuff that actually some of it new, much of it new, some of it's stuff that we have that we will be able to pre-release. We'll call it the pre-release, as well as it contains a newer version of the map you're using right now, 1.3, that adds a couple little extra things in. And we'll go over all that fun stuff in the next, at 9 o'clock hour show. I'm going to get ready to fast forward and jump into my combine. I think we can start. We should have plenty of poppy in the field by now. While this guy's waiting for poppy to grow, we'll get a tipper out because we're going to need one of those. But I wanted to check and make sure that our fill plane shows up. It should also show up in our harvesters as well. And any vehicle you purchase. Adding it right into the map will allow it to automatically be added into... It works in conjunction with the multi-fruit script as well. So if the multi-fruit script that we added last week has a placeholders, such as we're already pointing poppy to rape in the multi-fruit script, well, now it should also detect that we do have the poppy fill planes available, and they should show up in both our tippers and our harvester. Let me grab a trailer to in-game trailers just to make sure everything's good to go there. And we're fast forwarding, so we should see some poppy popping pretty soon. And it's a good thing I didn't pre-grow the poppy because I would run out of stuff to do. But next class, Tuesday, we have one more thing to do, and it's adding the particle system effects to our pipes and all that fun stuff. So we're going to add the particle systems to the pipes and the dumping particle systems and everything to the trailers, which will be the particle system section. And then you pretty much can add any crop to any map that you're creating, as long as you follow the instructions. Creating new crops is a little bit difficult. You're going to need some graphic editing skills, and I'm not good at it. But I might be. I did lollipops once, and cotton candy, and chocolate. But other than those, I have not. Well, I did manage to do the sugarcane texture that we're using now, because I didn't like how thin the old one was. But we can add more, and maybe we'll fiddle around. We're going to try to get a few new crop types in the next map that aren't yet available, so I might have to figure out. But that's going to take such a long time because I'm not really good at it. Wait for Poppy to grow. I really need to get that like super fast forward mod in here too. Let's make the time go by. But it won't take long. As long as I stay out of traffic, we're good. Your round hay bales are not selling at the farmer's market. Stuck at 79%. Yeah. That is an issue that I should have fixed in the next version of I didn't even realize that was a problem in 1.3, but I did run across that in 2.0, and I just fixed it a couple weeks ago. So yeah, for some reason it gets stuck, but we have an updated version of the map, and maybe we'll see if we can get that fixed for you as well, or do a tutorial next week on how to fix it. As you can see, we're waiting for Poppy to grow. It's got a little ways to go if you're just showing up. You guys have been doing some really cool stuff with the billboards that Big Daddy showed you how to make, and that's really cool. I'd probably be utilizing some of it. I like the one that was made that actually has the fill type display up on the billboard. That is really awesome. Forget who made it. Somebody could tell me. You guys know. But yeah, it's not going to make it into 2.0 because that's pretty close. I don't think it is, but I definitely am looking at putting that into the rivers map eventually. Hey, Troutmouth. Fold my header. Good idea. Is it bugging you? Header's folded. Glenn Falcon did. That's right. It's like super fast forward. I'm not sure what the mod is called. It's a super 1200 times fast forward mod. I haven't used it in a while because once you start getting into the UPK stuff, they don't react properly, and it can screw up a game if you're using the UPK. So you don't want to use it if you're using the UPK to fast forward your game because it doesn't recognize it. And seeing as we use a lot of the UPK stuff, you can corrupt your save game with it. So not recommended, but for right now where we are, it would have come in handy because we don't have any UPK stuff. We'll be getting into classes on creating your own UPK mods in the future. We're almost there. We've got some pretty pink flowers. Hey, Trout. Good to see you. I've been secretly watching your streams. I haven't been jumping into them like what we did the other night, but I watched the past couple nights to see what you guys were up to while I was map making. I just stayed quiet. Anybody here doesn't know Troutmouth65, as well as several people stream our map. He does an awesome job. And he might want to stick around to see some of the new stuff too that we have coming 9 o'clock. Glenn Falcon's billboard scoreboard thing is in our forums. He's got the link is already up there. He did an awesome job with the billboard. It needs to be put into the map in order to work. We have Poppy. Now we need to check, and with our yields super increased, we should fill up a lot faster than normal. Yeah, look at that stuff come out. Now you can see the particle effects is still the light particle effect. That's what we'll be working on next week, but we have the dark seed for the poppy filling up in our combine, which is what we wanted to check. We now have our combine with Poppy in it, and it will literally load in any combine you bring into the map now, which is pretty cool. And boy, is that filling up fast. Yeah, that's how you increase your Poppy. Make it grow in a half a day and increase it to 5 times the output, and you'll be full in no time. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we need to fill up our trailer and make sure we can see Poppy in our trailer. Got rid of that other little display. And you again will only see the old particle effects coming out of the harvester. That's next week. But we do have the Poppy showing up in the trailer as well. So we were successful. Couple little hitches, but now any vehicle we bring into our new map will be able to load the proper fruit type showing in the trailer. It's kind of cool. So briefly, we'll offload this here. We'll go over, just check our silo again, make sure everything's cool over there. We have our sell point set up now as well. That was a couple episodes ago, I think. I can't even remember anymore. I think this is episode 11. Some of them don't go as easy as others, but you never know. Doing these shows live, bound to have screw-ups. It is a process making these. And you can see, as I sell off just a little bit, we don't have the proper effects yet on the trailers for tipping. Once we do the particle systems, next week, everything will come together. Next Tuesday, you'll have the particle systems, and it will work. One entry will work for all the combines, all the trailers as well. So you only have to do it one time. Then we can dump in our silo. And even though we have the proper fill planes, not quite the particles we want yet. And we can load back up our Poppy. Very good. Now, you're always going to have that little particle animation. It's not the fancy one until I figure out how. Even I don't know everything to do yet, but it functions. That's the way it is on PV 2.0. The particle systems on the silos, I hope someday that I can actually get the proper particle systems based on the crop types, but I have not figured that out yet. And usually I figure those things out by finding somebody else that had done it previously, because I'm not a script writer by any means. But we're good. So that's pretty much all we have here today. A little bit shorter, but the next show at 9 o'clock is going to be jam-packed, filled with stuff. We'll run down really quickly. Oh yeah, I don't even know. Did I put that in? Let me check. Commands. If you wanted to download the texture files for the textures that I created in the texture adding little video we did, the one that's right here, plus the cobblestone texture, you can do !textures, TEXTURES, to get those. And again, the trigger that we added into the map for the silos is !trigger. And let's see, what else was there? Oh yeah, tomorrow we'll be doing a flashback, Saturday, 7 p.m., where we'll be going on to PV version 1. Letting people come in and play if they want with us. Except for I shouldn't say that, because if Troutmouth does what we did to him, that wouldn't be very fun. No. We raided his show. We all jumped in at once the other day. But yeah, we'll be letting some viewers in, and we're going to go back to the very first version of Pleasant Valley this week and see how things have changed. And each week we'll do a different map version that I've created over the past couple years until we get back up to date. So that would be !flashback if you want to get ready and get those files to join us. We'll have more information on that a little bit later, and lots of fun stuff coming up at 9 o'clock. So a little bit early today, but I'm not going to run on with this one. Thanks for watching. Going to take a break, get back up here at 9 o'clock, and see you guys at the preview show, which we're going to have to change the name to at some point from the 2.0 preview, because now it's kind of a 50-50. It's getting into the Pleasant Valley Rivers map preview for half of it, and that's coming along nicely, so we'll show you some of that, as well as do a little bit of 2.0 preview and show you all the cool stuff that we're going to be giving you out tonight to help you out with your current maps. So thanks for watching. I'll get back here in Getter Done is saying he wants to post a link. Give him some. There we go. And that link, I gotta open it up myself. That's pretty awesome. You will get to see in the later on show the special vehicle that Getter Done did for us as well. And actually I'll be giving you a link to that if you want to use it for the Pleasant Valley vehicle that he did. But that's pretty cool. He's been passing out some cool skins on some trucks. Thanks Getter Done for that. And that's just awesome. Yep, the flashback mods are for FS 2013. So if you're going to join that, you're going to still have to have your FS 2013 installed and drop them in your mods folder. There's only a few. So the first show. But as we go on, we'll be using the mod packs that we released with it, and that's it for our previews. So, well, we did add a helicopter in this time, so we could do a little bit of helicopter crop dusting. But for the most part, we're going to stick to the mod packs, maybe a couple extras here or there that we didn't have early on. So yeah, come back at 9. We'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching.